What's up, everybody? On Podcast Now Plus, I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Max versus Alex of Life is Strange True Colors and also Life is Strange 1. I thought this would be a kind of different, fun video to do, specifically even for the second channel, because, on the main channel, we're talking a lot about kind of recapping the game, going over True Colors. I believe tomorrow I will have a review up on the main channel on True Colors, but I wanted to take a step back and do some comparisons. I love this game. Now, this is not like an attack video or anything like that. I love this game a ton. I would put it, and this is kind of a spoilers for the review tomorrow. I love it, but I would put it just a tad, barely under the first Life is Strange game, kind of under personal preference that I prefer the first one. I do prefer Max over Alex, and that's kind of what I want to center this video on. Who's a better character, Max Caulfield or Alex Chen? I will say this, again, to give them both credit, phenomenal, direction, if we want to kind of credit the people who created these characters. Incredible direction, incredible visuals. I think Max as a character, looks like it's a really good character art. Alex looks awesome as well. And then I really have to give it up for the voice actresses. I mean, they... without them, they're not the characters, you know what I mean? So they did, both of them, an absolutely insanely good job. I mean, I remember so fondly Life is Strange, but I can't remember it, obviously, as vividly like the first time I'm playing it, like way back in 2015. Like, what was the falling in love process like? I can remember parts of it, but not the whole thing. I can tell you, like, I didn't think Alex was going to be as good as she was in True Colors, and, like, in the first 5, 10, 15 minutes, it's like she's just so likable. And that's something, again, I want to definitely say about both of them. I don't think you need a main character that is like immediately likable. I think there's a lot of value to a character maybe you get to know over time, or a character with big flaws that they try to overcome. I mean, and these characters have some of that, but for the most part, they're kind of just like, they're there. Their personality is really, I think Alex is a little bit more out there. She's nerdy, she's a little awkward, but she's not as reserved as I think Max. Max is very, she's just kind of in her own mind. And that was obviously what started the whole thing, right? Like when they constantly talk to themselves in their mind. And really, I think it fit Max, that idea of like they're constantly going through thoughts, they're thinking about things as they're playing out. I think that fits the character of Max a lot better than Alex, but it's obviously the mechanic. The mechanic is just kind of stayed around. But I think Alex is a lot more, I'd say warm, you know what I mean? Like outgoing. She's more like outward towards people, whereas Max is a bit inward. And again, I'm not saying there's literally no negatives in this entire video. You know what I mean? I love that about both of them. I think they both work really, really well. I think I would, I guess, again, personal preference. I prefer Max just a little bit more. I think she is, just kind of through her journey. I feel like Alex probably is the more likable character. Like if I had to debate which one just immediately comes off better and just is a character you kind of, well, not necessarily like root for. I actually root for both, and I maybe would even say I would root for Max more. But just in terms of a character that you want to like, I think Alex does win it. But I would say personal journey, I think that is maybe one of the only issues, and it's a small issue, in True Colors, is that it is so grounded and it is playing with emotions so much. But besides like the last episode, there's not too much to Alex's personal growth and her even emotional growth. And maybe that also has to do with the story, because the story is also very slow, not in a bad way. I actually kind of like it being a very slow and just, takes some time to kind of unravel. But I think that maybe hurts her character just a little bit, where you don't really feel anything massive from her besides her kind of outgoingness and besides her like personality that kind of like comes to the forefront. Whereas Max, so many things are happening and she's dealing with so much stuff, and she's also kind of dealing from other people's stuff, you know what I mean? Like being able to go back in time and stuff, she deals a lot even with like Chloe. Any problem Chloe kind of has, she really takes that, she's a very selfless person. She may be, again, kind of reserved or like inward, but she really, she takes what other people think, and that obviously plays itself out in mainly episode 5, right, where she kind of confronts her inner demons in a way almost exactly like Alex has to do, right, when she relives the memories of herself, kind of the big moments in her life growing up in episode 5 of True Colors. So there's a lot of similarities, right? They both like music. Now Alex Max sings, right? Although Hannah Tell, who voices Max, she is a singer, so it's not like she can't sing either, but obviously they play that up a little bit more in True Colors, but they're both musicians. I think that's a really kind of endearing quality about both of them. But again, in terms of like bigger scale, I just feel because it probably is because I think there's more stuff going on in the first Life is Strange game with Chloe, with the hurricane that's going to just destroy Arcadia Bay, with the idea that you don't really know what you're doing. And even when you think you know what you're doing, you don't really got it. And I think that's kind of an underrated thing that I was thinking about throughout True Colors. I think they do it subtly better in 1, where it's like, if you notice throughout True Colors, the power kind of like evolves, and like things that you were told early in the game that you can't do, all of a sudden you're doing. A couple examples is like, well, like 1, she's not supposed to be able to. She says in the beginning, she's only like able to read your emotions if it's like powerful enough, if that's really all that you're thinking about. And then like, and normally that does equate with their kind of aura, right? Where they're kind of like, you can see the color, right? And if they're not doing that, she can't really read their emotions. And yet, I believe it's episode 3, she reads Steph almost like a fortune teller, where it's like, tell me a fortune. And it's like, oh, I can just do that. And it's like, okay, I get it. And then she does get more comfortable with her powers throughout, where it's like she's able to kind of sense other people's strong emotions, not take them over, but just sense it without kind of like taking it for herself. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously she can do that as well, but that's kind of separate. Whereas like with Life is Strange, time is so weird and it's so fascinating. It's so different. Like Max, she never really knows what she's doing, and even when she does know what she's doing, she really ends up messing up every single time. You know what I mean? Her doing things with messing with time literally result in horrible things happening, and it's really, I guess, up until like episode 5, but even episode 5, there's a lot of mess ups, and it literally results in her having to battle those kind of inner demons. She never really has control over that power. It's a really, in my opinion, a really good arc. So I know, this is obviously touching upon things and like themes and powers, obviously, right, that are beyond just the main characters, but that stuff I think really does relate to the main characters as well. One more time for the people in the back. It is a contest. I'm not going to say it's not a contest because that is the whole point, but it's not, anything really negative about either of them. I love both of these characters, honestly, to death. I think this is a fantastic example, not to go political because I hate going political, but one thing I will say, one thing that I've found, in terms of like games and movies that I kind of relate to is like just making good characters. It doesn't matter who they are. I hate it, again, going in the political way, when you say like, oh, you need to like this character because they're this. Because they're a female, they're immediately a great character. That's not how it works. And I would say Life is Strange, now 2 out of, even if you go Before the Storm, right? But let's say 2 out of the 3 main games, they've had females, and again, not even a male versus female thing, but I think they've proved, maybe better than most out there, this is how you do it. They're girls, but it doesn't, you're not supposed to like Alex or like Max because they're a girl. Like, they're just amazing characters. I don't even like saying they're some of my favorite female characters, because in reality, they're just some of the best characters in games. And I think that is real. I mean, what kind of other accolades do you want? So they're both incredible. Again, I do think Max kind of edges out Alex in some ways. I could see Alex, because she's a little bit more, again, warm, and I think she's likable faster, like right out of the gate. I do think maybe people would go towards her. Also, again, like the powers directly they connect to the person that's using them. So I love time travel. I do think Alex's emotional reading is way more detailed and way cooler and better than I thought it was going to be. It didn't look that amazing in the trailers, but I think they did a really good job in the game. It's definitely better than the Force that Daniel had, but I think, time travel, how do you really, that's kind of the thing, how do you beat the idea of time travel? It's so crazy. Imagine having that power and like what that means to you, and that's what they explored in the first game, and that's very difficult to beat. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Who do you prefer? Who do you think is better? Do you like them both equally? Let me know what you guys think. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And I do a brand new video on the channel every single day, and so I hope to see you guys for tomorrow's video.